The Lake Erie Grape Discovery Center is the official visitor center for the New York State Lake Erie Concord Grape Belt Heritage Area. Supporting and promoting the grape industry, visit us and learn about grape growing history in the Lake Erie region. Shop for grapey gifts, taste local wine in a Concord vineyard. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey everybody, happy Saturday. I'm Doc Hamels and you are watching Chautauqua Sunrise. Wow, what a September this was, huh? Beautiful weather, and then it kind of did a little dip in the temperature. I'm not complaining. We had 80 degrees and that, and then now we're down in the 60s, and I kind of like that a little bit. But I guess it's going to get right back up in the 70s later in the week. But wow, great, spectacular weather in Chautauqua County. What better place to live? You know, you look at the weather reports all around the world, and you know, we're doing okay. You know, we have our snow, but then it melts, and then life goes on. And looking at what's been happening around the world with the hurricanes and tornadoes and fires and earthquakes and you know, all kinds of things. I say this from time to time. I love Chautauqua County. I'm not moving. We're staying put. I love it here. Hey, hope you're having a great weekend. And I know we're kind of getting a little bit of that fall feel to it. And if you're looking for things to do, there are a lot of activities going on in Chautauqua County, wine festivals and fall festivals, and I'll be telling you about some other activities coming up here in a few minutes. So check it out. Listen to what we have to report. I know there's a lot of posters hanging up in places. Chautauqua County doesn't go to sleep just because summer is over. It goes on all year long here. Also want to do a special shout out to my friends over in Jamestown, WRFA 107.9, low power to the people, and good afternoon. It's Tuesday at 1 o'clock, and as many of you know, they rebroadcast our show at 1 on Tuesdays, and we're so glad you could join us. So hopefully the things that you're going to hear about today are going to be really interesting and important in the lives of your family, your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors, and so forth, because we got a real interesting topic coming up here, and I want you to stay tuned because it's near and dear to my heart as well. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Well, I went through some of the big box stores the other day, and Halloween is on the rise. There's decorations showing up, and I think, once again, I report that it's probably the earliest that I've seen, yes, Christmas decorations. I'm astounded. I don't know if there's a special date that people say, okay, on this day we're going to start putting it on the shelves, but I'm almost feeling like, hey, why even do that? Just leave it a Christmas section of the store and just leave it up year round. It's crazy. I want to give a special thanks to all my underwriters. Those are the folks that you see in the beginning of the show in the introduction. They have stayed with us for a number of years now in Fredonia Place. I give a shout out to them. If you haven't ever visited their facilities or you have need for a family member, beautiful location, great people there. I encourage you to go visit with them. Meter's Restaurant, of course, great food, good people down there, my hometown, and yes, Bob Bentley makes the pies. Let's see, the Grape Discovery Center, if you haven't been there before, especially this time of year, folks, grape harvest, I mentioned last week, is in full swing. Do be careful because there's lots of vehicles on the roads, farm vehicles, trailers, these special semis with these containers full of grapes. Just keep an eye open because it does get a little busy out there. But the Grape Discovery Center, it's early. Discovery Center has some beautiful exhibits that explains the whole industry of the grape industry, the wine industry, the byproducts of grapes like jellies and jams and juices, and it's kid friendly. They got some really nice exhibits there for the kids to smell things and feel and touch and so on. Let's see who else. Catherine Young, of course, has been a great friend to Access 5 in general, and of course Chautauqua Sunrise, so we thank her for her support. Let's see who else we got there. Westfield Memorial Hospital. If you haven't been by there lately, I believe, it was supposed to be the other day, they have a whole new frontage. We're going to have to get a new sign in for them here in the studio when we pop up their picture, because it's now changed, and I'm not going to say too much about it, but through the Allegheny Health Network, they've got different colors and different logo and so forth. Let's see, who did I miss? I know I have 6 sponsors. I'm trying to think, what was the 6th one? Well, I'll think of it here in a second, or somebody will tell me in my ear. I'm drawing a blank right now. It's anyways, so I do thank people. They help support us here at the studio and keep things moving right along. So let's go into some of our announcements here that we have coming up, and for your information. Okay, if you are not familiar with the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation, they offer grants and scholarships from time to time, and I encourage you to check out their website and find out what those grants are, because your club or organization might be eligible for some funding that you may require or need to help do a project or support a program that you're endeavoring to do. And you can go to their website at nccfoundation.org. And right along with that, to help you with grant writing, they are providing a free of charge workshop, let's see, on October 10th from 9 to 11 a.m. This workshop is designed to arm nonprofits with the fundamentals of grant writing and is free to all nonprofits, charitable organizations, and municipalities wishing to submit grant proposals to funding sources. The Patterson Library is hosting this training in their Octagon Gallery, 40 South Portage Street in Westfield, New York. Professional grant writer Sherry Lance will lead the workshop, providing practical tips and strategies for writing each component of a grant application. Registration is required since space is limited, and each attendee will receive a copy of the presentation. And again, you can give them a call over at the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation or go to their website. And I just remembered my 6th sponsor, and I already talked about him, is WRFA 107.9. They are very supportive of what we do, and we try to do the same. And sometimes we have things that they are announcing, and they announce things that we're having as well. Okay, right now I sometimes hesitant to make these announcements because these things are taking place like as we speak. So I'll do this as a reminder that if you're interested, you still have a little bit of time, but Step Up for Kids is a 5K run walk and a hero run, and that's taking place right now at Cassadaga Beach in Cassadaga. So if you got to go, sign off. I get it. You can catch me later at 2 o'clock or 8 o'clock tonight. Registration has just begun, and the 5K run begins at 10 a.m. Kids Hero Run begins at 11:15 a.m. And just in case you want to give them a call, it's 338-9877. So that's done for today and this year. Okay, coming up tonight is the first annual gala dinner and auction for the Chautauqua Children's Safety Education Village. All right, now I tell you this because it's tonight, but even if you're not going to it tonight, you might catch it next time around. But I want you to know what they're going to be doing there, because this is really cool. All right, it's going to be held tonight at the Chautauqua Suites in Mayville, and it's an award ceremony additionally in the fact that they're going to honor 3 local individuals for their impact that they've had on the community and lives around them. So let me read them. They've named these awards after various people. So the Ron Ketty Award for Excellence in Fire Service is being given to Julius Leone, Chautauqua County Director of Emergency Services. The Kevin Link Award for Excellence in Law Enforcement is being given to Matthew Hazelton. The 2017 Young Hero Award is given to Raymond Carlson, who committed a heroic act in 2009 when he was 9 years old. And there's a story behind all these folks, and if you attend, you're going to find out about that. So they plan to do all of this annually, where they award people for safety and law enforcement, of course, and doing some outstanding heroic type things. And what's going to happen tonight is that they're going to have an auction and a dinner and the award ceremony, and I have been honored and asked to be the Masters of Ceremony, so I will be there. And I also will be conducting the auction. That is not one of my top 10 skills, but I have done it before, so it should be fun because I'll be laughing the whole time. If you're not familiar with the Children's Safety Education Village, they do fire, traffic, and bike safety for children from all over the area. And we had folks here not too long ago that were on the show and talking about that they've run like 40,000 children through the program in the last several years. So this is a big deal, and so keep your eye on that for future things. Okay, the Chamber of Commerce for the county is letting us know that they have their I had trouble saying this, Chautauqua gift card, which is available for pre-sale now and will be distributed starting October 2nd. We've been talking about this for a few weeks. The Chautauqua gift card is redeemable at business locations in Chautauqua County, supporting our local economy. Also, the Chamber will be leading the return of the Chautauqua County Restaurant Week. October 16th through the 22nd, a variety of Chamber member restaurants will participate, offering specials for the week. They'll work to promote the event in order to boost traffic into local eateries during a time when their customer base may be lighter than the prime summer dining season. Smart. That's a good idea. Is people pass through this area all the time on bus tours and things like that, or just traveling through. So what fun is that to have a week of restauranting? I would like to check out some of those that I haven't been to. Also coming up is a Small Business Saturday on November 25th. The Chamber once again signed on as a neighborhood champion for this national event promoted annually by the American Express. They encourage locally owned Chamber members and businesses to contact them so that they can highlight their small business on the Saturday promotion and advertising. There's no cost for qualifying Chamber members. So Small Business Saturday, of course, is shop local and promote our own folks here in Chautauqua County in the local region. Okay, let's move on here. We got a holiday arts and crafts in October. Okay, that's slide. There we go. The Hartfield Ladies Auxiliary. They're having their special doings on October 7th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Hartfield Fire Hall on Elmwood Road. Chinese auction, a drawing held at 3 p.m., a 50-50 drawing held later on November 18th. So that's coming up next Saturday, a week from today, the Holiday Arts and Crafts in October. Okay, now this is near and dear to my heart. My Westfield Mayville Rotary Club is holding its annual Gold Rush activities, and that's going to be 2 Saturdays from now on October 14th at Easton Hall in Westfield. They're going to be selling tickets. They're $30 a piece. You know, I'd say, but this is the deal, guys. You get a chicken and rib barbecue dinner, soft drinks, and so on, and it's from salad to dessert, and then you get a chance to win various cash prizes. Of course, why do we do this? We do this because it's a fundraiser to help support all the projects that the Rotary does in this part of the county, from giving out scholarships to participating in ending polio across the world and helping out children go to camp, and just all kinds of projects that we do. Supporting the Children's Safety Education Village is one of them. Okay, so the dinner starts at 6 p.m. The program itself in drawing starts at 6:45 p.m. Did I mention I'm the MC for that? For more information, give Linda Dunn a call at 326-3012. And of course, if you need tickets from anyone else, any Rotarian will have tickets, including myself, and we'd be happy to get them to you. Here's a new one I've never heard before. Magazine and Munchies program returns with Girl Scouts. That's cool, a magazine and Munchies. The holidays are fast approaching. I just mentioned that. I'm just waiting for the first holiday commercial on TV. It's due anytime, I'm sure of it. All right, the holidays are fast approaching, and local Girl Scouts have just the right treat. Girl Scouts across Western New York will increase their financial literacy and use digital platforms to engage customers to purchase candy and nut products along with magazines. From September 30th, starting today, through October 28th of this year, the community can support a local Girl Scout when they stock up on popular items such as, okay, I'm going to give it my best. Here I go. Dark chocolate mint penguins, dulce de leche owls, English butter toffee, peanut butter bears. Say that 10 times fast. Peanut butter bears, peanut butter bears. Dark chocolate caramel caps with sea salt. Is it caramel or caramel? Chocolate covered raisins, fruit slices, and new items like, no, I'm not doing this one. I just can't get, sorry Girl Scouts, dill pickled peanuts. No. Salt and pepper cashews in halves, and a whole lot more. A list of items can be found on our website going to GSWNY, so that's Girl Scouts Western New York, gsny.org. For non-edible treat, Girl Scouts offer 1,000 magazine subscription options, and so on. So we'll talk more about that, but support the Girl Scouts. They do a lot of great work, and we've had them here on the show, and they're just a delight, and they do such good work getting our young ladies ready for life and a lot of their life skills. Okay, here's a new one. My buddies over at the Ripley Rod and Gun Club are hosting air rifle match starting today, and then somewhere in mid-October and November 5, weather permitting. It starts like right now at 9 a.m. And also they're going to have a fall turkey shoot on November 5 and the 12th starting at noon. For more information, go to their Facebook page, Ripley Rod and Gun. Come on, mouth. Ripley Rod and Gun. Okay, so that's on their Facebook, Ripley Rod and Gun. Okay, turkey shoot. I never understand how a turkey shoot quite works. You shoot something and you come back with a ham. I don't know. All right, Lakeshore Model Railroad Association. Okay, Rusty Bova contacted me the other day, and this is one of those sort of mark your calendars, and we'll mention it briefly right now. But coming up on December 2nd, they're going to have some fun. They have their annual, Christmas open house to the public. They'll be displaying many of their operating train layouts featuring hands-on operations for kids. Okay, and this is going to be held, give me a second. Where is it at? Oh my gosh, I'm looking. Oh, at the Eastminster Presbyterian Church in Erie, Pennsylvania. Okay. And we'll talk more about this as we get closer. So just mark your calendar. The Railroad Association, Lakeshore Model Railroad Association, will be having their big event coming up on December 2nd. So just kind of mark your calendar, and we'll talk more about mission costs and things like that. My oldest son, Scott, he had every scale of training you could have that was legal, I think. Those teeny tiny little ones. I think it's N scale. They're about this big that you can put in the palm of your hand and right up to the, the great big ones. And so he was quite the model railroad aficionado. Okay, and finally, I know this is way down the line, but this is another one of your mark your calendars, and I'm going to have Rusty come on the show. So this is our last slide. Rusty Bova is a musician, and he's also this railroad enthusiast, and he's going to be having a concert coming up in April 14th where he's going to be doing a tribute to Bill Ross. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know who Bill Ross is, and we're going to find out more because Rusty's going to be on my show somewhere after the new year. And but he wanted to let you know that this is coming up, and it's going to be held at the First Presbyterian Church through the Lakeshore Center for the Arts. So anyways, this is real early, but a lot of times people say, well, if I knew that, I would have marked my calendar. So there you go, April 14th, and we'll let you know more on that as we go along. Okay, that's all the announcements I have right now, but I do want to remind you, and I didn't mention earlier, that if you have an organization that has an event coming up, you have a special announcement, you just want to say hi, you want to ask a question of myself or my guest, whatever, give us a call at 753-5225. You can email us, you can Twitter us, you can email us, you can go to the Facebook, you can check us out on YouTube, you can go to the front door of the studio and say, hi, this is for Doc, and give us a written question, whatever you like, get to us. We are happy to make your announcements, and it costs zero money. We're happy to do that for you. All right, we're going to take a little station break here and take a breath, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Okay, and then we're back, and then we also want to make a note to you that we're going to be doing something else here starting next week and the following week, that we're going to be interviewing political candidates for their offices that they're running for, and I will be conducting those interviews. So let me give you a quickie here. This will be on Saturday, October 7th. We're going to be talking to Jerry Ann Zamora, Mike Ferguson, John Hemmer, and David Himmeline. They're running for various offices, and we'll talk about them later. And then October 14th, we're going to be talking with Laurel Adams, Leanne Lazzaroni, George Borello, and Ella Ames for their respective offices that they're running for. So this is going to be live. I'll be here moderating the interviews. There'll be half-hour interviews with little breaks in between. So this is going to be run through Destination Chautauqua, and the crew here has put this together, and this is your opportunity to see them up close and personal, and I'll be asking them questions and so on. So check that out, coming up pretty quick. Okay, let's go right to my show today, and we are so happy that Justin Hanft was able to join us once again. And last time we talked to you, Justin, you were with Dream It, Do It, awesome robotic crazy stuff and fun things, and you took this other position with the Chautauqua County Education Coalition. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me again, Doc.
Yeah,
I always
absolutely.
appreciate coming on the show.
Oh,
and
great.
Anytime you got a nice warm cup of coffee for me on a nice fall day, I think I'll come on down.
We were just remarking how nice the weather's been, but sometimes that cool weather kind of feels good too, doesn't it?
I love this time of year.
Yeah.
Yep, and I'm not going anywhere either.
Good for you. Good for all of us. You know, a lot of people are coming back to the county.
Yeah,
You know,
I think so.
they've gone away. They thought they were going to make their millions, realizing they're not going to make their millions, realizing that the weather is pretty good here, and the cost of living is not even good. It's excellent compared to a lot of other places after they've gone and paid $1,200 a month for a one-room studio over some factory or something.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the coalition and so on, but how about tell us a little bit about yourself real quick again for folks that don't know you, and then we'll get right into the heart of the matter. So
Sure.
who are you, Justin?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Chautauqua County. I was from Bemis Point. Went to Maple Grove High School. and graduated from there. I did leave to go to school at Alfred University for 6 years. Got my undergrad in political science and then my graduate degree in literacy education, and then decided that I really wanted to come back. I really loved home and being close to home. That's why I didn't go too far for school either. But then came back, was doing some substitute teaching, actually was doing some assistant coaching up at Maple Grove, my alma mater too, and then actually got involved with an organization that I'm now serving on the board for, Chautauqua Leadership Network, and was still looking for kind of that full-time professional role while substitute teaching. There wasn't a lot of teaching jobs available at the time, and ended up meeting Todd Tranum in the second class of Chautauqua Leadership Network at their Workforce and Economic Development panel. And he had an opportunity available at that time, and went up, introduced myself, and that's the rest of the story, I guess. It's still to be determined, I guess. So we're still working together through a variety of different programs. As you mentioned, I was working with the Dream Do It initiative for a while in Chautauqua County, building that up, trying to spread the positive messages to our middle school and high school students on manufacturing occupations. And now, I guess in my role with the Education Coalition, it's still along the same lines. It's workforce development, but it's more at the macro level and trying to get all of our great programs, organizations throughout Chautauqua County to sort of see the big picture, see the system, and how we're all working together as part of that system, and how do we get to the outcomes that we're all looking for.
Okay, true or false? Over the years, manufacturing stayed on their side of the street, schools stayed on their side of the street, and then try to figure out why they didn't have employees that had the right skills.
I don't think it's as simple as a true or false answer. I think everybody plays a role in that, and I think that's really what we're trying to bring with our process that we use through the Education Coalition is to break down those silos, is to get nonprofit organizations that are developing programs to have conversations with our local school districts and also our employers all at the table at the same time.
My experience was and I'm going back years ago, even before my time, is that people, I don't think they really understood the role of education and how they can prepare their workers, their employees, their managers, or whatever. And they kind of didn't realize at the high school, even at the upper grammar school levels, that's where to start and that's where to work with kids. They kind of looked to colleges to do all the work, and they didn't see a continuum, I don't think, of how this all worked. I saw your eyes light up, go, he's on the right track. And so what I was getting at is there was a big disconnect for many years, and we were getting too many widget makers that there weren't enough jobs for. And then we had the guys that made the canapes that couldn't get anybody to make canapes because there was too many widget makers. So I think people needed to learn to begin to talk a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, if you look at our mission, of the Education Coalition, our mission is to align resources and build capabilities within the local workforce of Chautauqua County. And how do you do that? It starts with a conversation. So we got to bring together all of those people from the variety of the public sector, private sector, social sector to have those conversations as to what is the result that we're all looking for at the end.
All right, let's define some terms here. So you say public sector. So who's public sector?
Public sector would be, our high schools. We have, if you look at the learning system of Chautauqua County, it's quite complex. From an hour and a 10-minute drive that it takes to get from one end of the county to the other, we have 18 component school districts, as well as a BOCES, as well as a P-TECH program, and a variety of other initiatives that are going on within the learning system. So how do we sort of coordinate all of those types of programming that are being delivered in a most effective and efficient way?
Okay, who's the private sector?
So the private sector would be our companies. So specifically within the coalition's view and focus is, we really looked at the data to drive the industries that we wanted to help support with this initiative. And the data, when we first got this thing going back in 2012, stated that healthcare and manufacturing were the two largest industries in Chautauqua County. So we needed to try to help support from an educational focus those types of occupations that would be in demand, and looking at that and trying to bring the companies to the table. They're the experts. They're the ones that are looking for the specific skills of what they're talking about. And are we training to the best of our ability within our educational systems the skills that they're looking for? And are those conversations being had between the training providers, our school districts, our community college, our SUNY Fredonia? Are those programs available, and are they meeting the need?
If I was in 8th grade and I wanted to be, let's go into the manufacturing world, is there a career track for me?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, that's a very micro level question, right? We're talking about the programs and specifics and the interests of maybe an individual student and what they would do. So what we did through kind of our Dream It Do It program was just to provide those types of experiential learning opportunities for students to say, I've had plenty of opportunity to go in to speak with students at that age level. My daughter's in 6th grade. When I ask her the question, what is manufacturing? So a lot of the times you get crickets. They really have no concept, unless they have a friend or a family member that has worked in the field and they've been to the facility before. So that's what we tried to do, was just to try to bring a level of education to students, but not only to students, to school counselors, to teachers, to administrators, to fully understand the types of opportunities that are readily available right here in their backyard. And we did that through tours, through professional development opportunities, by getting panels of a lot of our manufacturing private side leaders together to have these conversations. They're really struggling trying to find the skilled workforce that they're looking for. And until you start to have that dialogue and that conversation, it's hard to clearly message to that 8th grader what pathways or what training that they would need in order to obtain that type of occupational track.
You and I were talking before we went on the air, and I've gotten to the point in my life where I know I might insult somebody, I might hurt some feelings, but I'm not trying to do that here. What I'm trying to say is the reality of it all is that we, as a nation, we have proposed that all children should go to college. And I, in my experiences, proposed that all children should get the best education to go to the point where they use their skills to their best of their ability, where they get up every day and have passion and love what they're doing. And if college is part of that pathway, terrific. If it's a 2-year technical program, okay. If it's a 1-year certificate program while they're working at what they love to do, even better. But we have wasted a lot of money and a lot of time by funneling kids into things and places that they shouldn't have to start with. And the statistics are there, so I'm not making this stuff up, and you argue with me if I'm wrong. But if you take 100 kids and you start them out in college, I think 5% of them will graduate from college and be working in the field of their love and passion. Am I even close?
Well, I would like to add just one piece to that with what we're looking at through the Education Coalition is, we're job focused, right? I mean, the end goal should not necessarily be the credential or the training that you're getting, but the end goal should be to make sure that you have a job and a good paying, family sustaining wage. So that's what we're really, that's the silver bullet. That's what we're all trying to encourage and try to make sure that our students understand that. It's not so much the credential, but making sure that we can get you placed. We want to try to, from a grassroots perspective, fill a lot of the local demand that's
so
right
it's
here in
really
Chautauqua
the two
County.
ends coming together. You have to have the preparation, and you all have to have the jobs for those. So how does this work? So if I'm saying I have passion and I want to do this, and you're saying I want to create jobs that will that I can hire you, how does that work?
Sure.
Where's the conversation then?
Sure. So I think that gets back to kind of the model that we've adopted through the stakeholder engagement process. So I mean, I realize that might be consultant speak to some, but we have a lot of this information on our website. So I'd encourage all of you to take a look at that. But when it comes to solving complex community challenges, it's all about dissolving the system, and how do organizations currently right now work with one another within Chautauqua County. We need to, maybe change some of those relationships and strengthen some of those relationships in a way so we can work closer together. So not so much focusing on maybe developing a new program or trying to, hopefully, fingers crossed, secure that next grant application, but what could we maybe get done with the resources that we currently have in place if we just start having a conversation with another organization and strengthen that.
So what you're saying is that perhaps if we talk, I have something you need that I'm not using anymore, or I could handle that, I didn't know you needed that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's no new money to the table. There's no new resources. We already have it.
But we focus on building those relationships. Yeah. And I think a lot of people talk about that type of stuff, but we have kind of a playbook on how to do it too. It's not just a lot of hot air, so to speak, but we have a fundamental process in which we can practice and implementation side of it as well. So that way we know when that situation arises, whether it's looking at specific programs or career pathway development, but getting people to sort of act in a way that will hopefully effectively move the needle on some big picture stuff.
All right, so give me some examples of some success stories. Do you have any to share?
Sure, absolutely. I think one of the first success stories of the Education Coalition was the establishment of the P-TECH program. Dunkirk City Schools was the lead applicant for that project. But the coalition really created the platform for that opportunity to be facilitated by the BOCES, so it was offered to not just, it wasn't just housed in one school district, it's being offered to the 27 component school districts of Chautauqua County. So a lot of students have that opportunity to participate in a program like that. The data to drive what career paths those students are taking in that program came from the Manufacturers Association of the Southern Tier through a survey. So we did survey our local industry and understand, what are the top 3 in-demand occupations at that time when that grant was, when that grant opportunity arose, and we need to make sure that we're training these students on that. And if you ever have an opportunity to go visit that program and that facility, and speak with those kids are just head and shoulders above they're just doing fantastic stuff.
Okay, take a minute or two and tell us more about P-TECH.
Sure.
You know what it is. I have a working knowledge of what it is because I've had some people on here about it, but let's just give them the definition. What is it?
Yeah, so the definition, pathways in technology, early college, high school. And it's a fundamental shift in a way that students are learning. It's very work-based learning, focused. They're working on projects. They're working in teams all day long. And they obtain their English and history and math all at the same facility, so it's much different than maybe some of the other programs that are offered through BOCES. And it also leads to a 2-year degree in a specific occupation. So they're going to have either choose the path of welding or machining, and that track. So there's 2 options. Students sign up in 8th grade, but first they do it at their own home component school. So it's a competitive process to get into this program.
Wow.
They're also going to be they're in the right now they're renovating Dunkirk School Building 6, which was an elementary building that was not being used. And at no cost to any of the taxpayers, this is going to be a fantastic, brand new, state-of-the-art facility that these students in this program are going to be learning. And they come out of this program with a free 2-year degree from Jamestown Community College. So JCC is also a component partner in this, a big partner.
So it's like you were saying, is you bring the people to the table.
Exactly.
No new money necessarily, and it's incorporating what I was talking about, a career path.
Yeah.
And so on.
So, there was a little bit of, in that example, some new money, right? We did receive a grant to get that started.
Sure,
but the sustainability of it, from what we see from a coalition standpoint, is to ensure that we still have those strong, warm handoffs and strong connections between the private sector, because there's a lot of manufacturers that are actively participating in this program through mentoring opportunities, through job shadowing, through tours, through hopefully once the students get a little bit older, it's only in its 3rd year right now, offering internships and
They're
part-time
probably
work, and
providing
hopefully.
resources like equipment and things like
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Yep.
Right,
Yep.
right. Wow, this is good. All right, so this is at Dunkirk. So if your daughter lives, let's say, in wherever you live, Bemis Point, we'll make it up. It's her birthday.
Yes, my daughter's
You were
birthday
supposed
was
to tell
on
her.
Thursday. Yeah, happy birthday, Madison. Yep.
So if
she's,
Madison wants to
11.
go to this program, and where do you live?
We live in Jamestown,
Jamestown.
but it's in the Maple Grove Bemis district.
All
Yep.
right, so can she go to this program?
She can. So
How'd she get there?
So how she would get there was have to have some conversations with her school counselors. Each school district sort of makes a determination on how many offerings or how many seats they're going to provide, and then you'd had some conversations, and there would be an application process at their home school, and that's how they would kind of participate.
And this
in the
came out of the
program.
coalition.
It was definitely a part of it. Yeah, I mean, this was because of the fact that we were bringing together multiple entities to have these types of conversations.
Okay, so you mentioned the coalition is the public and private sectors and that. Are there faces to these? I mean, who's like, this is a board of directors? Like,
Yeah.
Y'all meet together once a month, or how's this work?
Yeah, so actually, it's a good thing you brought that up. So as
You're
far
welcome.
as the sustainability of this organization, it's been an initiative supported by the Chamber of Commerce and Manufacturers for the past 4 years. We just have established ourselves as our own separate 501c3 as of July. So we do have a full board of directors. Several members from the private sector. We have Mike Abate, who's the plant manager at Cummins, Brad Van Riper, who's senior vice president and chief technology officer at Trucklight, Ann Abdella, Todd Tranum from our nonprofit world, Dave O'Rourke, who's the superintendent of BOCES. Yep. Bill Smock, who's the P-TECH grant program overseer, but he's also an administrator at Dunkirk City Schools.
Okay.
Jay Kalkirk from our Dream It Do It program, and then Chris Lansky from Excelco.
Oh, no, Chris.
Yep.
Chris and I were on the MTI board together.
Oh, okay.
So
Yep.
I told you I know all these
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
As the only person was the first person.
So, and then I don't want to forget Heather Brown either, so from the Resource Center as
Great.
well. Yeah.
Good people. All right. So that's the coalition group.
So that's our guiding team, right? That's our board that's sort of looking at the entire learning system from a 10,000-foot view and trying to see how us as a coalition can help support some of this. I know we've been focusing a lot of the conversation on our career path, since that's sort of where we started back in 2012. We had a very STEM focus, but
Whoa,
since then,
whoa, STEM.
science, technology, engineering, and math.
I'm gonna
Thank
hold you every
Shame
time.
on me.
In fact, a lot of people around here said it should be STEAM.
Yep.
But put the arts in there too.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Actually, we just had a good meeting this past week with Chautauqua Institution on some program type stuff. So we're looking at the arts component of it.
And can people from outside the county participate, like just across the border, or is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So how we're modeled, I guess when we hold our big community meetings, it's bi-monthly, and our calendar is right on our website as well as our Facebook
All right,
page.
let's give the website and Facebook. How do you get to you?
Sure, yeah. www.educoalition.com is our website, and then on Facebook you can find us right at Chautauqua County Education Coalition.
Yeah, I'll look you guys up.
Yeah. So, I mean, we post when we're having our full group meetings. We try to do a good job of getting people in different facilities that they might not have an opportunity to meet. So we move our meetings around, but it's always the fourth Tuesday of every other month from 7:45 to 9, and then sometimes we have our breakout group meetings too. So that's kind of how we're organized from a management standpoint.
Wow. Okay. So you mentioned P-TECH as one of your success stories. And anything else you want to share?
Yeah, so, what differs us from being, because like when we first got started, I said we were the Chautauqua County STEM Education Coalition. So really focused on science, technology, engineering, and math. But we've broadened our scope since then, and we're also looking at kindergarten readiness in early childhood space as well. If you think of it from a manufacturing process standpoint, if you have a problem in the manufacturing process, where do you go to try to figure out that problem? The beginning, right? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So we need to really look at early childhood. It's really important, and a lot of the data says that. So we're working with, we got Beth Starks, who is the executive
Beth
director
has been on the show
right in
here.
your backyard
Yeah.
here, right? Chautauqua Lakes children's group over there, and she's
Right.
doing a fantastic job with that program. But we're looking at some specific areas as to how to support, that area of learning and education.
All right. So the question is begging me in my brain here. you've got a 4-year-old, and what are they doing to help the cause here? You got to help me and the viewers.
Sure, yeah. So a couple of the programs that we're really strongly taking a look at right now would be Quality Stars, which is...
I know what that is.
Yep.
Mhm.
So in layman's terms, it's a way of putting a rating on the daycare or facility where you would be, dropping your children off at. How well are they doing? And they have a whole list of different things that they look at there.
They're rated on criteria.
Yeah, almost like, I mean, in my analogy is like when you get online and you're looking for, a hotel. Is it a 5-star hotel or a 2-star hotel?
Right.
That speaks a lot, that rating, right? I mean, you know exactly what you're walking into before you even get there. Same thing in the daycare space or childcare space. And then the other program that we're heavily supported, which is run by Rosary Kalivas, is the Parents as Teachers
Rosary.
program.
Wow.
Yeah, the Parents as Teachers program. So, how do we create a stronger emphasis of parent engagement in this whole piece? I mean, that's critical. It really is.
Wow.
And to try to, I know they have a very strong program at the Jamestown School District with the Parents as Teachers. The Education Coalition wants to be that entity to try to help support in any way possible to scale that up. It's already proven that it's effective for what it's trying to accomplish. But how do we scale that up and make sure that that program is being delivered at the other 18 component school districts throughout Chautauqua County?
Wow. Okay, take a breath. I just heard a dog bark in my ear.
Okay.
That can only mean one thing. Linda Spalding is on the phone.
All right. Linda.
I did. I
Good
heard
morning,
a dog.
Linda.
It was in my
Good
ear.
morning.
You
Well,
heard
they
it
were
too?
chickens.
Well, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Justin. It's great to see you on the show, and good morning again, Doc. I just want to make a quick announcement that we do have our senior employment services at the Office for the Aging in Mayville, and we're looking for a clerical person in Mayville and a transport aide in Jamestown. Also, we're looking for businesses to consider our terrific employees. This is still Hire the Older Worker Month, so
That's right.
we give recognition.
Linda, for the clerk, does it have to be civil service?
No.
Okay.
None of these positions that now are with our senior employment participant program. These are the training to work positions that they're paid a wage with minimum for 20 hours a week at a not-for-profit or government site. But we work with them to help them get a better job.
Okay.
But I do encourage all of the people that come through our program to apply for civil service tests and jobs.
All right. Did we get the number up there? I was busy looking around, Jeff.
The number is 753-4471.
Okay. And what are the hours that they can call you, Linda? I don't think we ever talk about that.
Well, the office is open 8:30 until 4:30 in Mayville. And if I'm not there, because I do a lot of traveling, I do have voicemail, and they'll put me right through.
Perfect.
They'll put the person right through to my phone number, and then if I'm not there, it will go into voicemail.
Okay, and as we all know, that if folks are interested in your program or anything else coming out of the Office for the Aging, they can check you out on Facebook, right?
Right.
Okay. And
Okay.
I've noticed that has been blowing up lately. It's
Yes,
really growing. Woo.
it is. Well, thank you again, Doc.
That's okay. That's okay.
Once again, I'm telling you, you and Joshua at our office should go work for Mark Zuckerberg. Well, thanks again, and have a great
All
week.
right, and thanks for calling in. Thanks, Linda. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Well, it's funny. Here we're talking about bringing up little kiddos into the workforce, and Linda is talking about the senior worker that perhaps is retired, or maybe they were displaced because of whatever, and they weren't quite ready to call it a day, and they're working on retraining and getting people back to work as well. So
Yeah.
it's a work day.
That's right.
Okay, folks, you're listening to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and my guest today is Justin Hanft, and he is what's your title? Coordinator? No, what are you?
Director.
Director. You were higher yet. Director. He's the
Well,
boss
it's
man.
just a title.
At the Chautauqua County Education Coalition, and you're housed at JCC, right?
Yes, we are.
Down
Yep.
in Jamestown. Okay,
Yep.
great.
We have two facilities actually. So we're at both the Dunkirk Center as well as the Jamestown one. Yep.
Okay, terrific. Okay, whew, we're bouncing all over the place here. All right, so we talked about P-TECH, we talked about working with young children. Now, maybe people aren't familiar with the WIB, the Workforce Investment Board, with Katie Geis. Now, how does that tie in?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, Katie attends the majority of our meetings, and she's, a huge asset in the community, and has a lot of great programs and resources that are available through the Chautauqua Works organization. So we try to figure out, areas where we can collaborate on programs or specific initiatives around events. I know they have a job fair coming up here pretty soon. I don't want to share any of the information on that just because I can't remember exactly the date. But
I know the feeling.
but yeah, when she's at our full group meeting, she shares a lot of that information, and we, work alongside employers to try to figure out how can we better serve their needs through the programs that we're developing.
So, working along with Katie, Chautauqua Opportunities you mentioned, the school systems and that. If you could forecast the next, let's go out 10 years, okay? What are the needs? What's the private sector looking for?
Production level workers, that's huge. On the manufacturing side, that's where I'm strongest on. I know we're going through, we have support through Chautauqua County Health Network to sort of figure out those occupational demands on the healthcare side as well. But those middle level positions within manufacturing, and I think also in the healthcare side, are incredibly in demand.
Okay, let's define. I always do this. What do we mean by production level employees? To do what?
Industrial maintenance. Okay, so an industrial maintenance or industrial equipment technology individual would be the person in a manufacturing setting. Doesn't just have to be manufacturing, but that would know how to problem solve and fix the machines that are broken down. As manufacturing
like a millwright, or
but with a little bit more advanced skills, because with the automation of manufacturing
robotics
today, it's becoming more robotics. So you got to have that component to it as well.
See, that's what my brother does that for a living. That's what he does.
Yeah,
at a huge level at General Motors.
Yeah. Yep. So that's in big demand. And as you mentioned, with the manufacturing population, many of which who have been working at some of these facilities for 25, 30, 35 years are getting ready to retire in the next 5 to 10 years. There's going to be even more urgency behind trying to backfill some of these positions, and there's just not enough students going into these occupations, and they pay really well.
Okay.
So
let's go back to what you just said. A lot of students are not going into these occupations, and the question is why?
Exactly. There's a disconnect, right? And that's where the coalition's trying to help solve some of those situations and help other organizations like Dream It, Do It, like JCC, like the WIB, and make sure that we have those programs that are educating students on the opportunities and these types of career paths and the skills that they need to get there. Because we don't think, it's just, a lot of it has to do with stigma and the misinterpretation and the lack of education on what it means to have these types of occupations.
Right. My dad worked for General Motors up in Buffalo, the Tonawanda plant, and he came home dirty, sweaty, really hated his job. And it wasn't because of General Motors, it was hard work. It was hot, and that was production. It paid well, it paid for us kids, me and my brother, to grow up, and we had a nice home and blah, 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 blah. All right. That's not the way the world is anymore.
No, not at all.
And my brother, I mentioned, works for General Motors, and he took my dad and I on a tour a couple of years ago of the plant. Everybody's in khakis, polo shirts, they're nice jeans. They're working in an air-conditioned environment. I'm not saying all factories are like that, or all businesses or manufacturing are like that, but quite a few of them are nowadays.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that somehow people, when they hear manufacturing, think of the industrial age where kids are working at these sweatshops and things like that. It's nothing like that anymore.
It's not. No, I mean, if you have an opportunity to tour a lot of the facilities that we have right in our backyard, like Cummins, Trucklight, all these different facilities, I mean, they're fantastic. They're super clean. They have a strong focus on safety. The ergonomics of some of the equipment that people are using make it so it's not as labor intensive anymore. I mean, you don't have to lift heavy pieces of parts or machines, and
if you do, they give you the equipment, like the belts and the harnesses to help you do that. Because I remember I have a brother-in-law that worked at GE, and he would lift these huge coils, and now is all knotted up and things like that. But that work, like you say, that's going away.
Yep. So it's bringing a level of education to our students, to our future students, around some of those things, and then working with the private sector to develop the programs that will be able to deliver that message to the right people at the right time, and that's how we're really going to move the needle in a big way to increasing more enrollments of students into these programs, and then also making that connection to the local workforce and placing them in jobs here.
Okay, so I guess we got a sort of an idea of production, and whether it's working along on an assembly line or you're making things come together. Let's talk a little bit about the healthcare side. I'm interested because I'm thinking I'm a baby boomer and we're the biggest generation on the face of the earth and we're all getting old and our parts are falling apart. So there's going to be a need for healthcare, I would think, at a highest level ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Ann Abdella shared some good information with the groups that she's working with at our last coalition meeting. CNAs.
CNA is a certified
nursing assistant. So and I envision it as that being, sort of like that, middle level type occupation in the healthcare world as well. And it's becoming more and more digitized too. Healthcare is, and a lot of the services that are being provided on that side. So like the medical knowledge and the ability to incorporate some of all of the data that's tracked on the medical side. Is a big occupation that's sort of on the rise. Medical record keeping, and there's a lot of
portals
new
and things like
So,
that.
that's sort of a moving target right now. But we're working with the right people to bring together those organizations to truly identify, ways to strengthen that training pipeline and getting more people into those occupations.
So you have the hospitals. I know Anna Abdella is with the Chautauqua County Health Network, CCHN, I think it's called.
Yep.
I know a lot of stuff, don't I?
You do.
It's incredible.
That's why I wanted to talk to you.
We're down to 2.5 minutes, and I don't want to drive the conversation from here on out, other than, and I'm going to try to say it, Athenix? No, here we go. Athenix. Athenix. I keep saying it wrong. That's looming in the background. Are they at the table, you guys?
Yeah. So, over a year ago, when they were first making their determinations of where they were going to settle, we worked with Athenix to bring together, to convene all of the training providers, SUNY Fredonia, Jamestown Community College, BOCES, a variety of our different K through 12 superintendent administration, and to meet with them and to hear what their needs are, right? I mean, you got a company that's coming in that's saying that they're going to hire 450 people overnight. We want to make sure that we have training programs that are upskilling individuals from the local community with the skills that they need. So I think that was eye-opening. I think that they really were impressed by the fact that a small community like Chautauqua County had something in place like this that could be able to gear up, bring together all the key critical community leaders in the area quickly and efficiently, and listen to what their needs were. And I think that makes us community ready, I think, going forward to hopefully be able to land more companies like Athenix in the manufacturing sector, but also help to support any of the advancements in the healthcare sector as well.
And what you just said, you just crystallized the coalition for me. With that situation where a company comes in and you can right then and there pull it together and say, what do you need, and start gearing kids and young adults and senior adults, whatever, into the system.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, you still have a minute yet to go. What's the end game?
I don't know if there is an end game. I think, ultimately, I think we're really here to be that sort of backbone support organization, to always be able to be mobile, to meeting the local economic challenges of tomorrow, but really continuing to educate all of our organizations to not only think kind of top-down within the programs and services that they're providing, but also think of yourself as a part of a system. And what roles do you play, and how can we create stronger relationships across the aisle with other organizations that work in that same space.
Hey, if someone's listening right now, regardless of what sector, and if they want to get a hold of you, can they call you? Or
yeah, absolutely. Our information's right on our website. So again, take a look at educoalition.com. Or follow us on Facebook. I run the Facebook page as well, so you're more than welcome to message us there. And we're also on LinkedIn. So.
Okay. Justin, we're done.
All right.
We did
Thank
it.
you.
All right. Woo, we covered a lot of territory there. Well, I'm impressed with the Chautauqua County Education Coalition. This is near and dear to my heart and something I used to work towards before it was called this. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed the show. We're going to sign off for another week. I'm Doc Hamels. So, Justin Hanft, thanks for joining me here, the director of the Education Coalition. And we'll see you all again next Saturday. We're going to start a whole month of programming in October. Have a great week and enjoy everything that Chautauqua County has to offer, and just suck in and breathe in all the goodness that's going on us right now. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye now.